Okay, hit the
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for being here today. My name is Gage Woolley. I work for the UC Alumni Association in the College of Education, Criminal Justice, and Human Services. We're really excited to host Yvonne Dicristoforo today for our Lunch and Learn and the other members of the Secret Service. So we got lots of folks here today who are alumni members who really are in the Secret Service due to really Yvonne's work, and Sue here that we also have pinned on Spotlight, and we'll have other folks from the Secret Service also speaking today who are alumni. So I'm sorry, I just had lunch. Really excited to host Yvonne today. So I will ask everyone, if you're not muted, to please mute yourself. Also, just wanted to let everyone know that this conversation is being recorded. So if you have any questions or anything about those things, we are more than excited to have this be recorded and shared with after. So that being said, I'm really excited to start this conversation now, and I'm going to do a quick intro of Yvonne, and then we're going to pass it over to Sue and just talk a little bit about how this whole process began. So Yvonne Dicristoforo is a senior executive and federal law enforcement special agent with over 29 years of experience with the U.S. Secret Service, focusing equally on both the protective and investigative responsibilities of the agency. In August of 2021, Ms. Dicristoforo assumed responsibilities as the Deputy Assistant Director of the Office of Protective Operations. Her duties include oversight and coordination of the Special Services Division and the former presidential details. Previously, Ms. Dicristoforo served as the Special Agent in charge of the Secret Service's Cincinnati Field Office, where she oversaw the Secret Service's investigative and protective mission throughout the Southern District of Ohio and Northern Kentucky. Prior to this position, her Secret Service assignments were to the Office of Government and Public Affairs as the Deputy Assistant Director, Administrative Operation as the Special Division in charge, the Vice Presidential Protective Division as the Supervisor of units, including transportation, the Second Lady and Family Section, and the Counter Surveillance, as well as the Chicago Field Office Financial Crime Squad. Whew. Big resume there. Throughout her career, she initiated and managed high-profile fraud investigations and managed various protection details. Yvonne has also served as a diverse and vast range of knowledge and expertise in managing multi-million-dollar projects involving renovations, relocations, and acquiring facilities, equipment, and resources for the Secret Service. Her education consists of studies here at the University of Cincinnati in criminal justice and also undergrad studies at Bowling Green. But we really want her to highlight her story here. But Bowling Green's great too. But very excited to have you on today. And Sue, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I've been a professor at the University of Cincinnati in the criminal justice program probably 35 years now. And there are always good stories. When you're at work, there are always good stories to tell. Funny stories, wonderful stories, all kinds of stories. Well, this is probably one of the best stories I've had in my years of experience teaching in the criminal justice program. A student came into my office one day, and our program requires students to complete an internship their senior year. Every student has to do an internship. And I had a student come in and ask me to do an internship with the Secret Service in Cincinnati. And I said, well, it's been a long time since the Secret Service has had an intern because they're just so incredibly busy that it's just been very hard for them to have an intern. And he said, oh, but that's my dream job. That's what I really want to do. So I said, okay, let's pick up the phone and let's call, let's just try. So I made a phone call to the Cincinnati Secret Service office, and a very nice lady answered the phone. And I said, I'm calling to see if the Secret Service in Cincinnati might take an intern. And she said, just a minute. And so she put me on hold, and another very nice female voice came on the phone. And she said, hello, this is Special Agent in Charge, Dicristoforo. Can I help you? And I said, immediately out of my mouth, I said, you're the Special Agent in Charge of the Cincinnati office, and you picked up the phone to talk to me? And she said, well, sure. And I said, well, I'm teach criminal justice. I've got a wonderful student that wants to complete an internship, and we haven't had an intern in your office for years. And she said, oh my goodness, she said, I'm a graduate of the University of Cincinnati. I had a wonderful, I got my master's degree and had a wonderful experience at the University of Cincinnati. I'd love to talk to you about interns. And I mean, you had to pick me up off the floor because the special agent in charge of the office answered the phone, offered to have an internship, and now we've been able to place a lot of students as interns, and now many are working across the country, maybe even across the world, I don't know, working for the Secret Service. And it's all because Yvonne Dicristoforo picked up the phone and talked to me one day about having internships. And now her predecessor, Jaime, has already been up to campus and spoke to our students and continuing the wonderful opportunity that we've had with the Secret Service. Yvonne, it's yours.
Hello, thank you, Sue. I appreciate your introduction. That was very nice of you. And I will say I give you all the credit. I want to make sure that I thank the university for inviting me here today. Everybody works together, Sue. All the people that we have hired, all the people that are students are working for us now is a credit to you and basically everything that you've done to bring them to our attention. So thank you for continuing to work on behalf of the University of Cincinnati. Just to give you a little bit of background for myself, yes, he said I went to Bowling Green. I did an internship there. And then I went to University of Cincinnati, which led me, one of my professors actually said to me, you know, are you thinking about, when we got into, they knew I wanted to do federal law enforcement, said, I have a Secret Service agent you'd like to meet up in Toledo, Ohio. So I always credit that exactly, that someone introducing me to the Secret Service is why I'm here today. So those relationships, those connections between you and your professor and mentoring will help you with guiding you into your career path. Just to go back, I also did 3 years. I was a probation officer there in Butler County. That was my internship also. So it kind of led, my internship led for me working in that career and then getting in with the Secret Service. I have been here, yes, almost 30 years. Gage did a great job of going over my bio, so I'm not going to go through all the assignments that I've had, but you know, we are a, we say protection and investigations. We have a dual mission. Now we say it's an integrated mission. Those things can't do one without the other. So I want Jaime and his group to introduce themselves. I think we have about 7, if not 8 of our former University of Cincinnati graduates on the call with us today. So I know Lauren Harvey is on. She was a student there, a master's student. Zach Ashford should be on. Mo O'Connor and Skylar Vito. Those were all University of Cincinnati students when I was there, who have now all been hired. 2 of them as special agents. One is an investigative analyst and one is an AOS. So let me take a minute to throw you over to Jaime Carrazzo, the SAC, so they can introduce their team.
So, good afternoon, I'm Jaime Carrazzo. I'm the special agent in charge of the Cincinnati office. With me, I have Nick Lieb.
Hi guys.
He is one of the student interns in the office. He went to UC also. I have Doug Dean. He's a senior special agent.
Hey everybody.
He's been with the Secret Service since 1998, and he started as an intern already. On Zoom is also Lauren Harvey. She is investigative analyst. Just wave. And also we have Mo. She is one of the AOSs in the office. Mo, go ahead. And some of the alumni in different offices. We have Zachary Ashbrook, so special agent in Chicago, and Skylar Vito, also in the Chicago office. Yvonne?
Thank you, Jaime. I appreciate it. I think that's from my career history. Jaime and I both served, started in the Cincinnati Fed office together, and Doug Dean was a student when I was there back in the 90s. So I'm honored. Thank you, Mo and Lauren. It's good to see you. I don't know if we lost, I didn't see, I think Garrett's on there too from the Cleveland office there. If you can wave, Garrett, if you had anything to add there. He's a special agent. He was a uniform division officer. He's one of our only ones got hired as a uniform division officer, went on to become a special agent, and he's on his way to the vice president's detail in the next 120 days. So Garrett, do you have anything to say about your different career path there in the Secret Service?
No, I was just blessed to have Sue as a professor. Just want to say, Sue, miss you. Hope you're doing well.
Nice.
Doing good.
Thank you, Garrett. Appreciate you joining us. Again, so all of these, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to understand that it's not just the law enforcement positions. The Secret Service has a number of different positions. And, that's one of the things as we bring you in is trying to figure out, especially through the student internship program. We were lucky enough during the COVID time. I know that the ladies and Nick can vouch. If we had Zach and Skylar on the call, we had 11 students when we were in COVID, 5 from the University of Cincinnati, 2 from the University of Dayton, I think 1 from Wright State, and then 2 or 3 from Ohio State at my Columbus office. So, still see me? That is, yeah. Oh, thank you, Gage. I appreciate it. That is one of the things that I'm most proud of as far as, getting those students involved, engaging them in our mission, making sure they have an understanding of what we do, and then trying to figure out, what's the career path for them. I mean, I always knew I wanted to do law enforcement. Even when I was in high school, I remember talking to them about, hey, I want to be a law enforcement officer. I really didn't know I wanted to do federal law enforcement until I got into college and started talking to people like, okay, what does the Secret Service do? What does the FBI do at HEF? So, and again, I credit one of my teachers with focusing me on and getting me into the Secret Service. And from there, it was basically every person that I interact with throughout the interview process. It is about a year-long process to get hired. It is a very strenuous background investigation, a polygraph exam. Each step of the way of them guiding me from the special agent in charge to the ASAC and helping me to understand, what does the Secret Service do to figure out if this is the right job for me. And I will say, we always tell people the first interview is kind of us talking you out of the job, why you don't want to work for the Secret Service. You are going to travel, you are going to transfer. This is not going to be like, you're going to get hired in Cincinnati and stay. If you're going to do the law enforcement mission, which Garrett can focus on too, all the career paths, same with Doug Dean. He got launched, as a student to New York office. I think he went on to do the Carter detail. So you get to set your own career path to a certain degree, but you will start investigations. You will do a protection phase. And then now we call it phase 3, where you can go back to a field office. You can work here in headquarters, public affairs. There's a number of different things for your career path. Back to our APT, our administrative, professional, and technical. If you are not interested in our law enforcement positions, we have a number of different positions that are analytical. We're now getting more involved in I call them project management positions. They're looking more, getting away from traditional administrative positions and trying to hire people that can be more analytical, like Lauren was talking about for her investigative analyst. We also have intelligence analyst positions that are here in the Secret Service too, but predominantly those work in a headquarters level. So I think that's enough. If there's anybody else on the call, Mo, you want to talk any about your position there, or Lauren? Will yield to you?
Yeah, I mean, I got really lucky with, having a great supervisor like yourself. I came in through the intern program and I didn't really realize like the options I had until I had a great supervisor to kind of show me, okay, it's not just the agent path, like there are other things you can do within the service. And I got one of those positions. So I feel very lucky to, from UC to just push me into an internship, having to have some sort of co-op before you graduate, and then being able to, get paired with a good agency and people who are willing to, find something for you and help you along the way and network and get yourself out there. And yeah, I'm just very lucky to be here.
Thank
I'll
you.
piggyback.
Go ahead, Lauren.
I'll piggyback off of Mo. The internship for me was crucial. I knew that I wanted to be in federal law enforcement. I just didn't know where. And then by the helpful tutelage of Yvonne, of course, I definitely found a direction that I wanted to go. I originally did apply for the agent position, and then I pulled out of the process because I just felt like maybe that type of job wasn't what I wanted. So I was able to kind of slide into the analytical path, and it definitely, I guess, passed me forward towards what I want to do in federal law enforcement. So definitely grateful for Yvonne and UC, because without I believe it's, what is the course called? It is a requirement, but it's the course that places you in a internship and gets you interested and gets you out there into seeing what else is available for you, not just as a special agent, or there are so many different paths that you can go down. Yes, professional development.
Oh, thank you, Lauren, and thank you, Mo, too. I think that's the part of I see all when you guys were graduating, same with Skylar and Zach, and we did lose one, we'll admit. She's over at Fifth Third Bank, but we're trying to figure out what's best for you in your career. And I do say even now, each one of you, I know that Mo, there are going to be career advancements. The Secret Service does a good job of offering a career progression, both for obviously on our agent side, our uniform division, like Garrett talked about, and how he could transition over to the agent position. And now he's getting ready for his phase 2 protection assignment. And same with for Lauren. I mean, there are opportunities if you want to stay in the Secret Service. If you do not have to move for the administrative, professional, and technical positions, but there will be other opportunities within the office, that they can move on to. So if Mo decides she wants to do an analytical position, there will be opportunities. The field is getting more robust. Even my public affairs partner sitting across from me here, they're looking at putting public affairs specialists in those field offices. So COVID has changed us a little bit. I think we see now the value, and everybody's working from home, and making sure that we have those, there's lawyers that are out in our field offices as well. So if you're interested in something more analytical, more professional and technical, we will have expanding opportunities in those field offices as well. For the agent side, I always tell people, you do not get to pick. We are going to put you in the needs of the service where you start. So for the law enforcement, and Garrett talked a little bit, the uniform division, that position is only in the Washington, D.C. area for that position also. But we do have one of our deputy division chiefs, ASAC Curtis Nelson, will be on at the end and talk to you about a new crewman opportunity for the special agent position as well. So we'll get into that. I'm gonna throw it back over to Gage.
Great. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful introduction. I just wanted to follow that up with a few other questions. There we go. We already talked a little bit about the internship program through UC, but if you'd like to talk more, it's great. And if not, we actually have the next question is, what do you love most about your job? So
I do want to talk a second about internship program, and I'll let Jaime talk too. We in the Secret Service right now, it's specifically through the Department of Homeland Security. I always tell people, and the ladies again, Lauren and Mo could talk a little bit more about it. It is an intricate process, but you have to apply when that opens up, the DHS Pathways program. I believe, and I'll let Lauren and Mo, you can go on and put your resume and basically set it to remind you. We do push that information out to Sue, but usually when it's open, it's like 5 days, and it traditionally only opens once or twice a year when we get those openings. I will say we typically do not get to hire 5 in any field office. It was just because our hiring numbers, we were able to overhire that year. And I am very blessed, that we were able to do that, taking all of them on. But know that those positions come open, we may only get 1 to 2. And I know Nick was the only one that we got in the last 2 years. But I will throw that over to you, Jaime, to talk about our relationship and hiring through UC.
So this year, we will have 1 or 2 interns openings in the office. The announcement will go out either in March or April. Like she said, it's open only for a few days. So when it opens up, I will send the link to Sue so she can spread it out among the students if you don't catch it. But you can see it on USA Jobs when it comes out. We'll have those 1 or 2 spots open this year for beginning in August. And we usually like having the interns for at least 1 year, but prefer 2 years.
Thank you, Jaime. Sue, do you have anything to add to that for the program and who you send to us or who you push that over to?
One of the things I like to talk about is what students can do to prepare for an internship like this. I mean, this is a premier internship for our program, and that's if one of our students are actually, selected. So there's a lot to do for a student to develop that resume and to be marketable. Because I'm thinking that now, maybe you're looking for someone that's a 3rd-year student, a junior, that then would have junior and senior year to be there. So freshman year, what would you advise about what should be on that resume? I mean, what is important, for an intern to be in your office?
What I usually
Go ahead.
What I usually tell students is when they're writing the resume is when they're listing their duties on that current jobs they have or they had in the past is to list, not to focus on the task. I did this or that. It's more to focus on the accomplishments that they did, regardless of how small the job was. You usually accomplish something, and so focus on that instead of just listing tasks. Yvonne?
The one thing I'll add is, Sue, you mentioned what year, and again, the ladies can tell you, it takes a long time to get hired. So I know we're doing a better job now, but it's probably better. You need to be applying the freshman, sophomore year, because it could take 9 months to a year to get hired. So we would like to see those candidates, and Jaime, you can remark on that, but the earlier the better, so we can keep them for 1 to 2 years, while they're through their junior, senior year. So definitely focus on some of those younger sophomore, maybe getting into their junior year, but otherwise they're going to be too senior by the time they graduate. We're fortunate. Most of, I know Skylar, Lauren, and Zach all went to the master's program, and we got to keep them longer.
So the internship even takes a year?
No, the background process, the hired process could take 9 months to a year. I think all of them. Lauren, can you remember how long yours took, or Mo?
Right. I initially applied in November. I didn't get the job actually until August. Like, I started in August.
I applied in June, and then I didn't start until October, so it was a few months.
Okay.
I think to answer your question, the background on an intern is a little bit quicker. So I think what we're looking for, something that gets advertised in March or April, we can have them on board by August, September.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you.
Great. So if there's any other questions about the program, if not, we'll just move on to the next. What do you love most about your job?
Well, I've kind of already talked about it. I love the recruiting, Gage. I love the student hiring. I'm passionate about, even in this building here at headquarters, all the people that we bring to the service, all the people that we kind of guide in their career advancement. So, I did 2 years. You talked about my career history. When I came off of protection, I actually got to do 2 years in our recruitment office here in headquarters. And people say, "You're a recruiter." And I'm like, "What? Yeah, I'm a recruiter, but I'm really a special agent." But those 2 years when I got to go out and talk to people across the country, and then bringing that back to Cincinnati and working with the universities and colleges, there's nothing more rewarding than hiring people and bringing them, allowing them to find their way and helping them. I always tell it doesn't mean that it's necessarily, Lauren talked about, she applied for the agent, when she withdrew, it was very hard and disappointing, but it's her career path. She gets to choose. So guiding them and letting them choose that path and helping them find their way. So that is the most, what I love most about my job. And I can throw that over to Zach Carrazzo also. I know what you're going to say, Jaime, because I just saw you on the Africa trip. I know what you like to do over here.
Yeah, I would say my favorite thing about the job is traveling. That was one of the things that attracted me to the job. Ironically, that's some of the things that some of the people don't like as much, but for me, it is traveling. I always like saying I've been to all 50 states, 6 continents, and 93 countries in the world. So definitely traveling is my favorite part of the job.
Yeah, every time. We're very fortunate. Jaime takes a lot of good trips for us. So we appreciate him going to Africa on this trip. I think you were out there with the First Lady. There's a couple more coming up, Jaime. Protection, we welcome you to come over and do some more travel with us later in March.
I'm holding up for the Ireland trip.
Very nice. Anybody else? Garrett, you have an answer over there?
Yeah, I would echo that. I do love the travel, both as uniform division and as an agent. They're both unique experiences, and you get unique job opportunities when you go overseas for different assignments with each. I also want to add the people I work with is a big factor too. The Secret Service has incredible employees, and some of these people I work with, even in Cleveland, but even friends I have in other field offices, these people would take the shirts off of their back and give it to you if that's what you need. It's really more than a job. It's a career, and and you make friends for life, and it's more like a family than friends. I do believe we had a question in the chat asking about it was if you had prior background checks, does that help at all? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe it does. We do our own background checks on new applicants. And then for the Secret Service internship, does having children preclude participation? Yvonne, if you want to touch on that. I don't have any children, so I can't answer to any of that stuff.
What was the question? I heard you say, does it preclude for the internship or for any?
So for the Secret Service internship, does having children preclude participation?
No, not at all. I was gonna say it doesn't preclude participation in any of our positions with the Secret Service. No, that's, an individual, choice and how you manage the situation at home, whether it's, I say a spouse, children, your family, that's on you. But the internship at all, I mean, you are going to be working in whatever. We have people that live in Cleveland, go to the University of Cincinnati, and then they can work for us in our office. And then if they want to go home for the summer, we would work with that office for them to be home, if that's where their family is or if they have children. So we are versatile as far as the internship program. Once you get hired, obviously as a special agent, Garrett, you mentioned as a uniform division officer, you will be placed in a certain location. No different even for Lauren and Mo. Luckily, we had openings in Cincinnati for both of them that we were able to, they could apply for those positions. I do say for the internship program, it's easier because it's like conversion. So basically they get to apply resume review to see if they're qualified for that position. They do not have to apply outside of the Secret Service on USA Jobs. So anybody who has that opportunity, I'm sure that's not just the Secret Service. If you get an internship with another federal law enforcement, those opportunities would be available to you. So like I said, I'm big in the internship program. I always tell people I'm not going to let you walk out the door, without offering you an opportunity and figuring out where you want to work for the Secret Service. I just talked to a big class down here at headquarters, and I said the same thing. It's like every one of you needs to find out, where you belong or where you want to go before you walk out the door to work for private industry. Is there something, a good fit for you within the Secret Service? And those are much harder if you're on the, if you're outside and you're applying through OPM. You're competing, and I'm very supportive of our veterans, but veterans preference, a lot of times, the vets will beat you out for all those positions. So know that the internship is a great opportunity for you to be able to do conversions for other opportunities within Secret Service. What was the other question you mentioned, Garrett? I think you answered it, but
I was going to say, I can do it too, Garrett, if you don't want to be the.
Thanks, Gage. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. There's a bunch of questions now here. So the next one up there there's like 3 or 4. So are internships part-time or full-time?
They can be either. Yeah, we had several. They can work part-time and they can work full-time. I was trying to remember with both of you. I think you were both a little bit of part-time, but you can work. I mean, if you only were, I think a minimum, do you remember? And Curtis is on the phone too from our.
Minimum is 16 hours a week.
A minimum of 16 up to 40 hours. Yes.
Nice. The next question is also employment related, but not to the internship. It just says, are there full-time remote positions available? So we are working on our remote work policy. We do have people that are working remote full-time right now, not on the agent side and the law enforcement side or uniform division, but we do have those legal counsel, public affairs I've talked about. But right now, because we don't have a policy in place, it's more of an employee agreement that they're looking into establishing a remote work policy. So that is coming. I'm not sure, we have telework, and telework across the Secret Service right now for our administrative, professional, and technical is up to 80%. So in theory, you'd have to come in 1 day a week. And that is the discretion of the SAC. We're going to let Jaime talk a little bit more specifically in the field, but that's where we are. Currently, our posture is we're at telework 80%. So you would have to come in 1 day a week if you're in a administrative, professional, and technical. And then you would have to, the remote work policy, they're working on it now. Go ahead, Jaime.
So the law enforcement positions that do not telework, you cannot do the protection or an investigation from your house. So those are not up for teleworking. The administrative positions, like she said, there is a percentage, but it is up to the local supervisor how much to allow. So there's a variety of how much it is, but not more than 80%.
Great. Next question up there was, what positions would be available for a cybersecurity analyst?
I'll take that one, Yvonne. The Secret Service has a pretty robust cyber crimes program. That is my background, and that's how I got hired on the job. And my degrees are in computer science, so that's how I ended up in the Secret Service. There are several programs on the special agent side during the investigative phases of your career. You can concentrate on the cyber crimes, and within the cyber crimes, there are several positions in the digital forensics. So you can go to digital forensics training and stay in that program where you perform the digital forensics for the cases, and that would be in the computer, cell phones, tablets, or pretty much anywhere where data is stored. We have also on the protective side a program where the individuals go out and do advances on the anything that we can encounter that is electronic that could be hacked from remotely. So if a protectee is going somewhere, they will look into remote access to the sites that we're going and things like that. And that is called the critical protection systems, and that could be a phase 2 assignment. Those spots are limited. On the professional side, non-agent, we have positions that concentrate also on the digital forensics, so they call network intrusion forensic analysts, but there are positions available for non-agent personnel. Those are limited. There's usually one per office, and they do not open frequently. The special agents are assigned throughout the offices, and there's definitely a good chunk of the investigative side that concentrate in headquarters are based in Washington, D.C. Actually, I left one section, sorry. It's the network intrusion program. That is a group of agents that responds to, they do the initial assessment, and there's a network intrusion, and they collect the data and analyze it and begin any investigation that will result in an investigation of a network intrusion. Yvonne?
Thank you, honey. Back to Gage.
Great. So things works. There we go. What is your favorite career accomplishment that you've had? I think actually there's one other question, and this would be the next one. I'm sorry, but it's this is almost like a long answer, most likely. Can you please explain the Secret Service career path, protection, investigation, uniform division, question mark. How can you travel to 93 countries?
Okay. I'll let Jaime talk at the end about that, but so, and Jaime's been on a long time like I have. Your uniform division is totally separate. That is a position that you would apply for. I'll let Garrett talk about that, but starting with a special agent career path, you will be hired in an investigative office. Traditionally, and I know I'm looking at my counterpart across from me, it's supposed to be around, let's say, 4 to 6 years that you will stay in that first investigative assignment. First 9 months, you'll be in training. You will go through the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center down in Glencoe, Georgia, and then you would go to the Secret Service training in Raleigh, up in Greenbelt, Maryland. Those 2 trainings take about 9 months of the year. And then it's getting shorter, I will say that. Currently, it's supposed to be between 4 and 6 years. You will stay doing investigations in a field office. While you are in investigations, you are still doing, protection is coming into your district. Like Cincinnati, for example, every time we have a protectee that comes in to visit, the president, the vice president, any of our former presidents, they are partnering with people from the protective detail. So you're learning along the way, but you have the partnerships. You're working with your local police departments. You're working with your fire departments. You're working with your local businesses, for those. So I always say you're developing as an agent your protective understanding. Once you've been on between 4 and 6 years, you will get assigned to a permanent protective detail. You will go to the president's detail, the vice president's detail, the protective intelligence division. You can do our counter assault team. So, and then Jaime talked about critical systems protection. Very few, but a small group of agents will be assigned to do critical systems. Those are, if you have a cyber background, a very small percentage would be afforded that opportunity, and are usually hand selected because of their skill set to go to critical systems protection. We, once in a while, you will get openings for the former details, but traditionally you will do part of your, we say your 6-year phase 2 assignment, president, vice president, like I said, the counter assault team or protective intelligence, those will be the openings. And then you would be afforded an opportunity if you wanted to split your time. So if you wanted to do 4 and 4, do 4 on the president, you could do 4 on the vice president, you could do 4 on the president's detail, or do 4 on any of our former, the Trump detail, the Bush detail, the Clinton detail, did I miss the Obama detail, and even the Carter detail. So we do offer, then you become an 8-year phase 2 protection assignment. So you can do a traditional 6-year in one place, or we afford you the 4 and 4, where you can split your time between 2 different protective phases. Once you've completed phase 2 of your protective assignment, then you could move on to phase 3. Phase 3 is pretty much anything. You could stay in protection up to 10 years if you want to opt in and stay on, or you could go back to a field office. It's almost like we say a career opportunity. It's called a job opportunity opening that they list out. Do you want to go to Cleveland? Do you want to go to Cincinnati? Do you want to go to Dallas? Those opportunities will open up for you that you can bid on as you're getting ready to come off of your 6-year assignment. You can go to our training facility. You can go to our public affairs office. You can go to Capitol Hill and be a congressional aide. So there's a number, anything in that phase 3 assignment, will be afforded you. And then there's also promotional opportunities. Once you've been on, it's around 10 years, you can be in the bid process to get promoted to an ATSAC, an ASAC, a SAC position, and move up the career ladder. So traditionally, the agents coming off protection, that's right around when they'll have those opportunities for career advancement. But that's the special agent career path. So, and again, depending on where the needs of the service are, they will traditionally, you apply. They usually offer you about 3 to 5. Almost every time you're going to get a San Francisco and LA and New York. There might be a wild card. Toledo, Ohio was in there for a while. Dayton, Ohio, something that is harder to staff. It might be a small office, but it may be harder to get people, who are not from that area that would bid on those positions. So I think Garrett, I'll let you talk a little bit. The uniform division is totally separate. You would apply for that position. You do not have to have, you have to be 21 to 36 for any of these positions for law enforcement, but you do not have to have your degree to apply for the uniform division. Jaime, did you have anything before I throw it over to Garrett?
I just want to say regarding the travel, while you're on phase 1 or phase 3, when the president or the vice president travel, there's the people assigned to the details do the traveling, the inner perimeter, and the advances that you see mostly on TV. But around it, there's a group of agents that support the visits, and those agents come from the field. So while you're assigned to phase 1 or 3, you travel to those assignments all over the country in between your investigations, and that's where the travel occurs. And that's, if you're asking me where did I do those 93 countries, when there's a foreign trip in there that the support is required, agents report to those assignments, and that's where the travel happens. Also, we have agents overseas in about 10 offices in different countries. So I did do one assignment overseas. I was assigned to the Paris office. So when you're assigned overseas, you do the same thing when you cover a region of that country. So the Paris office covers mostly Western Europe and the French colonies out of Africa. So I did a lot of that traveling in that period. So that's why the number of countries is high.
You brought up a good point, though, about our overseas offices. You can probably talk about, we do have overseas offices that you could be assigned to. You will not be assigned starting out when that's traditionally coming off of your protection phase. We're looking for that experience where you'd be more of a liaison position of those overseas offices. We have Rome, we have London, we have Paris, we have a number, Mexico City, Bogota, Colombia. I don't know if you could name all of them, Jaime.
Madrid, Latvia, Bangkok, Brasilia, The Hague, London, Pretoria, Ottawa, Vancouver. Did you say Colombia already? Mexico,
Yep.
and I think that's all the overseas offices.
And those are pretty sought after assignments. So those are specialized, usually selected, like I said, people that have career experience to get our overseas offices. So thank you, Jaime. Garrett, did you have anything to add for the uniform division position?
Yeah, so I was I was at University of Cincinnati probably about 6 months out of graduating college. I put in because one of my friends told me how to apply. It took about a year, so about 6 months after I graduated from UC, I was hired. Went through about the same amount of time for training that your typical agent goes through. There's Glencoe, Georgia, or out in Artesia, New Mexico. It doesn't matter which FLETSA you go to, but ultimately you get your general federal law enforcement certification from them, and then you graduate there and move on to the Secret Service Academy, where they teach you specifically what you'll be doing as a uniform division officer. I was on with uniform division for about 4.5 years. It gave me invaluable experience that I'll bring with me as an agent when I go back to DC. I have a leg up on everyone that they didn't have that uniform division experience. And so when I go to certain places like the White House or Northwest DC, I know that place like the back of my hand, to where, you know, someone else coming from a different background might not have that same experience and knowledge. So I think uniform division gave me a big leg up on coming back for my phase 2 assignment for protection. Yeah, I'll leave it to you, Yvonne.
No, thank you, Garrett. I appreciate you explaining that. And traditionally, when we were hiring, that's why I want to make sure, Gage, leave time to talk about the STAR program, because when we were recruiting, we were looking for people to have, 2 to 3 years of experience before they would come over as an agent. We are now, the STAR program that we're going to introduce is a program now that looking more to hire people right out of college with certain qualifications. So Garrett would have been a perfect example. I think his experiences, he's kind of lined out, gave him that that opportunity to learn and develop, and then now getting ready to go to the vice president's detail. So, but we are now focusing on getting people in the special agent position at a younger age and affording them the opportunity to apply direct for the special agent position. Lauren, you want to talk anything about your position? Anything to add on to that? For recruitment, I know it was a little different.
Right. So what I do is basically helping, well, as an investigative analyst, is really assisting with any investigative need that the special agents have. So that's really criminal workouts for suspects and businesses. And also I do a little bit of, well, a lot of financial analysis as well. The Secret Service has a lot of different programs and access to databases where I get a lot of my information from. And then of course, programs that help break down financial documents, whether that's bank records or really anything that allows money to move from person to person. A lot of what I'm working on right now is digital currency. So criminals are getting smarter, and as they get smarter, they evolve, and we have to evolve with them. So what I do a lot of right now is tracing. So digital currency, Bitcoin, Tether, USDT, and a lot of cases that I'm investigating right now, they consist of money laundering, wire fraud, I would say romance scams, investment schemes, and identity theft, and of course counterfeit. But that's about it.
Thank you, Lauren. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for taking it, you and Mo both, for sharing with us. So I'm going to glaze over the next question. I know real quick, the favorite career accomplishment, because I always say it's both of you, everybody that we've hired, the students that have come forward. So it's always my favorite accomplishment is, again, getting people in the job, working with the students and watching them develop. So Lauren will tell you, because I know one of the first ones we did, we had to go to UC and speak, and I took Lauren with me. I think I made her stand up in front of the whole class, but just listening to you speak today, I am impressed. I am amazed. So congratulations. And you guys are doing a wonderful job. Jaime, you're so lucky to have them. Okay, Gage, I'm throwing it back to you for questions.
Nice. Yeah, there's a couple more on here too that are very specific, which we'll hit those right now if that's okay, since we're already on that topic. What kind of professional positions would be available for individuals with master's/graduate degrees. Also, are there any tuition reimbursement programs for graduate education?
So the professional positions, and I can let Jaime, I mean, we've kind of talked about the various different positions. You know, the Secret Service has positions, you know, business, we have photographers, we have public affairs, we have congressional. So we have lawyers. I say we have a variety of positions that you could apply to. The majority of them are going to be in the Washington, D.C. area. Each field office is going to be more geared towards administrative staff. And like Lauren talked about, the investigative analyst positions. Anything to add to that, Jaime? I want to talk about tuition reimbursement.
Yeah, the majority, you said the majority of the jobs are in Washington, D.C. The field offices, what we have here in Cincinnati, and most of them is special agents, administrative positions, and investigative analysts. Bigger offices like New York, Chicago, LA, Miami, they have some technical analysts that support the smaller offices, but those are based in the larger offices. And also in DC, there's the labs. So the biology and chemistry and physics types scientists are based out of Washington, DC.
Thank you, Jaime. And then to focus on the tuition reimbursement, and again, I know Mo and Lauren have heard me talk about it. I always told the students, because technically, even when you're a student, you can apply for that program. We have tuition reimbursement. If you have finished your degree, the government, the Secret Service right now will reimburse you. It's up to $60,000. I don't think it's changed, but it's $10,000 per year for 6 years. So each year, though, you would make a commitment to the government and say you get $10,000, you would owe the Secret Service 3 years. And then each year you would extend and get another $10,000 for the total of, so I guess you would do it 6 times, you would owe the government a total of 8 years. So you're making that basically commitment. Hey, I want to get reimbursed for my education. They would pay back, like I said, $10,000 a year at a time, up to 6 years in a row. But you would owe the government that you would work for them for a total of 8 years. We do have tuition assistance as well, but the tuition assistance is more like if Lauren decides she wants to take classes to further her education, to help benefit her degree, she would put those in for tuition assistance, and it would be pay as you go for those classes that she would choose to take. And that the tuition reimbursement, it can be for special agents, it can be for our legal, our analysts, any of our positions, our students that work for the Secret Service. Once you have your degree, you can do tuition reimbursement. Just know that the loan has to be in your name. It cannot be in your parents' name or somebody else. You would have had to take out that funds, that loan in your name. So we do fully supportive of tuition reimbursement.
Thanks. And then for critical infrastructure protection, which area of cybersecurity is best to concentrate studies upon?
Pretty much any topics on the cyber side, but most of it would be the network security courses.
Thank you. Perfect. And then advice you'd give to a current student, and I'd love to hear from everyone on this one. This would be great.
I kind of walk through, take every opportunity you can, make sure you're working with your professors and partnering with those, figure out, what opportunities are available to you. Go on, for those pathways, opportunities for internships. I did an internship, I mentioned, with juvenile probation. And then that's the job I started right out of college. They actually called me. I was going into my senior year when they were actually going to hire me before I finished my degree. I was like, no, I want to go back and finish my college. But when I did graduate, it's like I actually ended up getting that job as a probation officer for, I think I did 2 years, and then I went up to adult probation. So those internships are very valuable. The same thing with University of Cincinnati. I did an internship, I think, with the police department there. You're getting the experiences, the exposure, and the partnerships. People that you're meeting are going to be people throughout your career that'll help you to find career opportunities, the ones that are going to call you later and say, hey, we have opportunities. So take advantage of those. And mine was an unpaid internship. I'm big on the Secret Service. We pay you, and I will try to keep you as long as I can. I was just talking to about Mr. Lieb. I think Nick is there. I haven't heard from him, but for those student positions, I'd love to hear from Nick, but take the opportunity to make sure that you are staying on as a student as long as you can. You know, if you decide you go to grad school or law school, you know, stay with us and try to stay on with the Secret Service. So that's my advice is to you, to figure out what, you know, opportunities are available for you. And then, you know, I always say, too, don't take no for an answer. If you apply and there's some reason, you know, I always learn something new. They say, well, you can reapply. If something happens and 6 months later, it's like, well, you're not qualified right now. 6 months later, you might be better qualified. You know, I knew that I wanted to have experience. I went back to my Spanish teacher and got the Spanish books so I could learn and study Spanish again. I took 3 years in high school. You know, I was taking judo, you know, through one of the probation officers that I worked with there. It's like, figure out, how do I make myself best qualified? So that's the advice I have, and kind of figure out where you want to go, but also know that, like Lauren said, you may be going down this path. Things may change. We are not the military. You are not signing on for, you know, a commitment 4 years. If you change your mind, you know, I tell people later and we offer you the job, you don't have to accept the job. If we, you know, to a certain degree, we want to talk you out of it. If this is not the career for you, I mean, I don't want to lock people in. If you're like, I don't like to travel and I don't like change, you know, I feel like every 4 to 6 years, I'm starting kindergarten over every new job that I take on. So I enjoy the challenging part of trying something new. But if you are not a creature, you know, if you like doing everything the same and you want to come in and you need that comfort, the agent position and also the uniform is probably not the right path for you. So that is my advice. I will throw it over to Jaime and Nick.
Yeah, so I'm Nick. As Jaime said, I'm the current student here at the Cincinnati field office. I would just like to echo what Yvonne said. It's all about getting that experience. And my biggest thing, as I'm still a student, is just getting the experience you can, networking, and getting that exposure, because you never know who you can call up later down the road to help you out, or if you're looking for some sort of work opportunity, just keep at it. It's never too late. Go to the Career Expo next week, the UC Career Expo. There will be over 70 employers there. It's going to be an excellent opportunity to meet people. And just through my experience, it's been excellent. I've learned so much here. We're working closely with the agents, and the administrative staff here has been a great opportunity. I've learned way more than I would have ever expected, and just getting that federal law enforcement experience has been great. I graduate here in a few months. I do plan on going to law school, so I'll be taking that gap, but that's not to say that my journey with the service ends with law school. You never know. I have loved it here, and I'm not opposed to coming back in the future. So, yep.
Thank you, Nick. Jaime, did you have anything to add?
I'll just say that at some point, everybody in their career or their student life encounters some setbacks. So I will say that, you know, keep trying, don't give up on it. Pursue it, give all your passion to it, and things will work out. I will also say that a little bit on the experience that sometimes I see here when people come to the office for interviews. Confidence is good, arrogance not good, self-entitlement not good. So I will just leave you with those 3 comments for interview purposes.
Thank you, Jaime.
If I could just chime in here before we lose everybody, I noticed that we have a lot of students on the on our call today, and I would like to mention that we are extremely privileged to have one of the Secret Service Cincinnati agents teaching for us. We have Brian Phillips in this call today. He's here, and he teaches criminal investigation. He speaks to students all the time. He's a wonderful career advisor, you know, and works so well with our students. And I don't mean to embarrass him, but he's here if he wants to say anything. And before I go, I just wanted to let the students know that this is a real possibility. Every student that you've met today was sitting in our classrooms We currently have 2 students on President Biden's protection detail right now. Garrett is on his way to the vice president's detail. You know, we have Lauren and Mo that are being wonderful support services. Zach is here too, I think. But, you know, Professor Phillips, Brian Phillips is here if he would like to say hello.
Good afternoon. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, it's my privilege and pleasure to teach for UC. I have the greatest of respect for Dr. Burke and her entire staff over at UC. And it's been incredible to see students come over to Secret Service from UC. Have nothing but good things to say. And if I could give any advice to current students who are looking at federal law enforcement, make sure that you put your best foot forward, especially in regards to the polygraph, because those people sitting on the other side of that table, they're actually for you. They're wanting to make sure you're a good fit for this agency. So they're not trying to jam you up or get you in any trouble. It's best that you put your best foot forward and just give everything you have to that process and being as forthright as you can. And that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian. It's good to hear from you. I was going to say, talk about professionalism, great representation for the Secret Service and for UC. I'm so glad that you're teaching there. Gage, can we throw it over to our Deputy Division Chief, Curtis Nelson, so he can talk real quick about the STAR program?
Absolutely.
Thanks, Yvonne. Thank you, University of Cincinnati staff, Zach Carrazzo, and students. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak to you here. We have a STAR program that you see on the board here right now. It stands for our Special Agent Talent and Achievement Recruiting Program. So all of the things that DAD Cristoforo and Zach Carrazzo spoke of, this now gives you the opportunity, if you are within your last semester of school, you can now apply to the Secret Service. So if you're within your last semester of graduating and you are within 2 years, have graduated within the past 2 years, you can now apply to our program here. So it's our entry-level opportunity here. Now you have to have a 3.0 grade point average or a member of an honor society, 4-year or advanced degree from an accredited college or university. Like I said, earned within the last 2 years, or if you are within your last semester and you feel that this is something that you would like to do, you can now apply with the Secret Service. And then once you graduate, you'll have to send us, of course, the documentation that you have actually received your degree. So all of the different things that were spoke about here now, when I started, you had to have some work experience. DAD Cristoforo had to go out and get some work experience. Now we're trying to see if we can tap into the pool here a little bit earlier than we have for in the past. So, and also to talk about, Zach Carrazzo spoke about those 3 things there at the end. I always like to piggyback with some of that stuff and just say, be honest. Whenever you're applying for the Secret Service or any other job, no matter what it is, no matter what you have done, you have to be honest about it. It could be a minor thing of I was at some party and I smoked marijuana a couple of times, and you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I want this job at the Secret Service. Maybe I shouldn't talk about that. I should maybe try to come up with some little cover story. Well, that's the problem. The cover story never works. And then in the end, now you've washed yourself out of this process forever, when if you could have just been honest about it, and then we can deal with these situations at that particular time. So we do have a website, secretservice.gov/career. I'll say that again, all together, secretservice.gov/career. You can go there and you'll be able to find anything you need to know about us. And when you want to go to that page on the left-hand side, you'll see the STAR program. You can click on that. It'll give you all of the information that you need. So your standard physical fitness test. We have a physical fitness test that you have to take, aptitude test at the beginning, push-ups, sit-ups, an agility run, and a 1.5 mile test. Everything you would know, everything that normal applicant would go through to be an agent, you would actually have the same opportunity, be afforded the same opportunity now to actually get in this program and move forward. So I just want to stress again, STAR program, Special Agent Talent and Achievement Recruitment Program, secretservice.gov/career, 4-year degree, advanced degree from accredited college, 3-year, 3.0 grade point average, 2.95. If you have that, we round up to 3.0. So that's all I have. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to speak to the group here.
Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it looks like there's one question for you actually before you go. Would
No,
you
absolutely.
recommend that part-time students who are working full-time still apply through the STAR program?
Once again, it comes down to if you're a part-time student, but you feel if you're going to be graduating within that, if you're in your last semester, so if you're part-time, but yet you have, let's say, 4 classes to take, but you're only taking 2 at a time, and that 2 will finish in this other semester, you need to wait until you're within that 6-month window of graduation to actually apply.
Thank you.
Hey, I just want to add one thing here to make sure people click on the right thing. Probably the best way is to go through the website that is on the listed on the screen. That it's going through the secretservice.gov and the special agent and STAR. If you end up forgetting the website and end up Googling and you end up in USA Jobs, not going directly through our website, you are going to see a lot of openings, and you'll see criminal investigator listed like 7, 8, 9 different times, different positions. Make sure that it has STAR after criminal investigator. If you click on the wrong thing, you're going to end up in the wrong program and applying for the wrong job. So if you go some other direction, you get to that job application, some other direction than our website, make sure it has the word STAR after criminal investigator.
Perfect. Thanks. And then final, I guess, any parting words other than that? Then there's just questions to follow up after that. So I just want to leave any parting words.
Thank you, Gage. I appreciate you guys inviting us to speak, and I will throw it over to Zach Carrazzo to
I will
finalize.
say one more thing is we will be present on March 8th at your Career Expo. We'll have a couple of agents. I will show myself. I'll be there myself for 1 or 2 hours. I have some other engagements, so I cannot be there all 4. But for sure, we'll have 2 of our employees the entire time that can answer any questions.
That's great. Thank you, Jaime. I didn't get to see Doug Dean, one of our other former students and agents. So if we make sure Mr. Dean steps in, our New Yorker, the Carter,
right here.
all his experience, his investigative knowledge. Doug, and your favorite Sue, former student.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, Doug.
Anything to add, Doug Dean, with your experiences?
What's that, Yvonne?
Anything to add that you parting words for the students and the Sue Burke here?
No, you guys definitely covered everything. I'm gonna leave it at that because I know it's a little after 1. So I told Sue, and the offer always stands. If she wants somebody to come speak to the class, you know, myself and some of the other guys in the Cincinnati office will be more than happy to come talk to you guys.
And just a little note on Doug. Doug was in my class, in our classes back in 1998, and was looking for an internship. And one of our professors, Roger Wright, recommended Doug to the Secret Service for an internship. About 4 years later, 4 or 5 years later, Doug called Professor Wright on the phone and said, I don't know if you remember me. My name is Doug Dean, and you once recommended me for the Secret Service internship. And I just want you to know that I just flew over the University of Cincinnati in Air Force One with the president, and I just wanted to thank you. So all things are possible, right, Doug?
That's it. I was flying on a C-17 to go support the president, but you know, his
all
version
good.
sounds much better.
No, thank you. Thanks, Garrett, Mo, Lauren, Jaime. I appreciate everybody joining. I think we might have missed a couple others and Brian for joining us. Gage, do we have any other questions that we need to answer?
It looks like all the questions have been answered, but you did get a comment. Thanks for all this informative lunch and learn and this amazing opportunity. You all seem very talented and hardworking. God bless. And that's from Tim Bauer. So I think Tim probably already head out, but a couple comments already for y'all being on today. And we appreciate here at the Alumni Association, you guys taking your time to come back and support the students and the other alumni that are also on this call listening, who might have thought that, they might be in a different career and might say, oh, the Secret Service might be for me after all. So thank you again. If any folks would like Yvonne's contact information, should I share that, Yvonne?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Perfect.
perfect. Yeah, as I was going to say, it's on the next page. I just wanted to double check first. So there's her contact information. You're more than welcome to email her with any questions you might have in the future. And if you don't get this, you can obviously reach out to me and I can give it to you as well. So thank you, everyone. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out. Everyone have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Gage. Thank you, Yvonne.